Hello everybody and welcome to our very first H1Z1 Dev Digest stream. My name is Sarah Flanagan and I am the community manager for H1Z1, or if you ever see me online or in game, I am Lieutenant Toast. And with me today to kick off our very first episode, to look at some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, to talk about some game updates, I have Mr. Tony Carter-Morton himself.
What's up, everybody?
You want to give a stream a little introduction about yourself and what you do here for those who haven't seen him before?
Yeah, right on. Game Dev Cardo, which you guys probably know me by. Lead combat and systems designer on H1Z1, so anything pew-pew related or vehicles, gas mechanics, loot, scoring, those kinds of things are kind of what I lead the charge on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you've been working on recently is on the latest test update that is out right now. So let's take a look at some of that and let's go through that.
Sounds good.
Let's sure win. Okay, so what are we going to take a look at here?
All right, so the first video is just a snippet on some of the new crouch stuff. So we decreased the amount of crouch fatigue and how it builds up and kind of how it cools down, I guess, if you will. So you guys shouldn't be getting crouch fatigue kicking in anymore while you're in normal movement, unless you're really hammering on the C key. So we'll be interested to see how this plays out and how this feels. The idea, again, here was just kind of get it so the system doesn't kick in and give you guys more freedom of movement. And at the same time, we adjusted some of the pacing of it as well. Help it feel a little bit smoother and should look a little bit less, I guess, teleporty or warpy over the network.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's crouch.
All right, and this is one that some eagle-eyed people have seen before when if they happen to also watch For Destiny Friday.
Yes. So we talked about this one before. We've removed the linked cooldowns between lethal nades and smokes, and then we've increased the cooldown on lethals as well. So lethals used to be 5 seconds. It's up to 7.5 seconds now. We'll see if we need to increase that even further. But now you have the ability to throw a frag, and then you can switch to a smoke and throw a smoke, or vice versa, throw a smoke and then switch and immediately throw a frag. Mm-hmm. So it's only between lethals. And then the other thing that we do with grenades is reduced the lethal range for frags and change the damage model on mollies as well. So they should be more displacement and less lethality.
There you go.
And then what we're seeing here is we've pulled the light bar off the cop car. The lights are now in the front window and the back window. And then in doing so, we've also adjusted the shoot over line of sight checks. So you should be able to shoot over things a little bit easier than before.
I saw a couple questions in the chat in regards to grenades, if we want to go back to that for a second. Someone asked what the cooldown on the smokes was and also the duration of the smokes.
Smokes are still 20-second duration, so that hasn't changed. And then cooldown on smokes was brought from 5 seconds down to 3.5 seconds.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yep. Anything else you wanted to show off in this one? I know here we go. This is also the cop car light bar as well.
Yeah, so again, just the cop car light bar, got rid of that on it. Ooh. And yeah, it should just kind of make the cop car a little bit less problematic. Oh, and the other thing we changed with the cop car, and all vehicles as well, is we made the smoke more opaque, less opaque. It's easier to see through. Doesn't get in the way anymore.
Less opaque. More transparent.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Always get those backwards.
I know, me too.
So yeah, so this way the vehicle smoke shouldn't get in the way anymore.
Yep. I know that was definitely a common community
complaint.
Point of feedback.
Yes, absolutely.
Clearing that up a little bit, so it's easier to see out of. All right, and then the next one we have up here is one of the things that we talked about in the test patch notes is Combat Zone has been renamed to Combat Training to kind of reinforce what its purpose is. It's to train. You're not going to get XP for it or points or anything else. We're not going to keep track of kills. We want everyone to be able to jump in and really have a good spot to practice. Yeah. So talk us through what's going on in this video here.
Yeah, so we had a lot of feedback where people were like, can I please just spawn with a shotgun? But we didn't want to take it away because we know some people out there like the SMG as well. So now the default loadout will be AR, AK, shotgun, and then we've increased your bulk. So this way you have a SMG and ammo inside of your inventory. And so this is literally a video of me just getting killed over and over again, showing that you always spawn in with the 3 weapons and the one in the inventory. The other update for combat training is we have added spawn protection. So when you spawn in now, the system, the way it'll work is you shouldn't get killed on spawn before you're actually loaded in. And you're just like, great, I just got 2-tapped, well loading. So hopefully that should feel quite a bit better.
You get a little bit of a bubble around you before someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. So, we ready for this last video?
Yeah, so this last one's a big one. We haven't really talked much about this yet. It's been brought up quite a few times in the community, been brought up quite a few times internally, seeing what we want to do, seeing how we want it to play. So we're actually playing with a revive system. We want to see some feedback. We want to see how people receive it. It's one of those things in H1 where there's been a bit of, hesitation, I think. But depending on, how it kind of goes in, can really dictate, I think, how it's received. So what you see in this video is some of the ways that we've kind of kept Revive a little bit more H1 inspired. If you two-tap somebody, they're still dead. You headshot them with any kind of headshot, honestly, will kill you. So really, it's kind of a nerf to a body shot. And it does a few different things for us. When you come back, you have, I think right now, 33 health, 10 health, 33? Yep, 33. Yeah, 33 health. So you're not going to be able to come back and be, combat ready from the get-go. You are still going to be out, but we wanted to kind of give people the ability to be like, oh, I'm down, but kind of come back. It should help team games, should help just engagement in general. Right now, it's very much, as soon as you're dead, you're just kind of out. So we wanted to keep this very much in the flavor of H1. Some of the other things, grenades as well. We've seen quite a bit of feedback on grenades. People don't like how lethal they can be. So like if a frag grenade hits you, you will go to a down state. It's a way for us to kind of pseudo-nerf that without completely nerfing it. You can shoot somebody a couple more times after they're down just to kind of finish them like you would expect in a normal revive system. But the big thing for us that's a bit different is just headshots just straight wipe you out. So the two-tap has been preserved. It's a nerf for body shots. And yeah, so we'll kind of see how this goes.
Very cool.
Yeah, interested to get feedback. We're gonna looking at introducing this in duos first, just to kind of get our toes in the water with it, see how it feels, get feedback on it, and then we'll work with the community and we'll go from there. So.
From the chat alone, there are a lot of people on either side of whether they'd like to see or not see Revive, maybe coming from other examples they've seen or what they believe to be true to H1Z1. And I know you've talked a lot about how this is preserving the spirit of H1Z1, but also, making it friendlier for maybe some of the newer folks so they don't have to sit behind and spectate their duo's partner.
And it's one of those things too, like it sucks dying. And then like you're just kind of out and you're stuck there. And when it comes to competitive, I know it's a huge topic for competitive as well. So the way we're trying to set this up is we should be able to turn it on or off pretty easily. So hopefully for hosted games, for scrims, if you guys want to turn it off, we can get the support in there so you guys can just turn the ability to revive off so you can maintain it for competitive. Same goes for the Pro League. Pro League doesn't want to use it. The ability to turn it off in the build, so this way the build doesn't have it. So there's some functionality in there that should be pretty flexible. We just got to get some feedback, see how it goes, and then we'll go from there.
Yep. So. All right. Anything else you wanted to cover before we dismiss you?
No, I really think that's about it. It was, those are the things, we're still looking at scoring as well. We know it's a pretty hot topic, and some of the older mechanics in Outplay. Working on Jump currently. Hoping to get that out there pretty soon. Starting to play with that. So, so yeah.
Very cool.
Should cover it.
All right, and so a lot of that stuff that we covered, with the exception of Revive, is currently on the test server. We've been running some test server smashes. Our goal is to get that to live for you. We're aiming for later this week, but stay tuned. We'll have some updates for you. Thank you, Tony, for coming on.
Anytime. All right. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Later, everybody.
All right, next up, I have the one and only Crafty Joseph DeAnda. Come on in. Hi, how you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good.
You want to give a little intro to the stream for who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Joseph DeAnda, known as Crafty Joseph.
Is that how you say it, DeAnda?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been saying DeAnda.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay. It's the same thing, essentially. So I am the esports coordinator, so you might have seen me at TwitchCon, DreamHacks, running the showdowns and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much what I cover.
And then when you're not running showdowns, you're at home smashing people.
Yeah, essentially.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And planning for future stuff. So.
Of course, absolutely. Okay, so the reason we have you on today is the first Pro League match is next Saturday. We are coming up on that. That is April 25th. No, next Saturday.
Oh, that's
right. The first one's Saturday, and then after that's like the premiere weekend is meant to be like the big premiere weekend. That's next Saturday, April 21st, the first match. But then after that, they're always on Wednesdays.
I think that's where I'm getting confused.
Yes, all after that, they're all on Wednesdays. So a lot of the rosters have already been announced. Let's take a look through some of those. All right.
So you see here, yeah, this is Alliance. They played at DreamHack Winter, and they're a pretty solid lineup, I think. I got a chance to talk to pretty much all these guys. I saw them at TwitchCon.
This is our Australian friends minus
correct.
Mountain, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So they're all really nice guys. They're all really committed to this game. You know, they're really good. They've been around forever, too. Yeah, I'm excited to see how they do.
Yeah,
so,
very much so. And then we also have a very, we've all seen these names before.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are like OGs in the scene. You know, you definitely, you have some really well-known guys in there. Yeah, Flame Hopper is probably the nicest guy you'll ever meet. You know, the most genuine guy you'll ever meet.
But yeah, for this Counter Logic gaming team, they've been around through a couple Dream Hacks.
Yeah, they've had the same lineup pretty much since the beginning.
So. And it's worked for them.
Yeah.
So
oh yeah, I mean they've done well. You know, they got second place at DreamHack Winter. They've continuously shown that they're a top team.
Yeah. So. They'll be one to keep an eye out for. And then we have Luminosity as well.
Yeah, Luminosity. They had a few changes. That they have Sign. He placed really well in the solos at DreamHack Winter. They have guys like Rogue, he's always streaming. He's like always playing H1Z1. You have some of the OG guys like Chipsy and JP2. And then you got Yogi. He's he's definitely up there. I think so.
Very cool. And then Noble, some familiar faces, some less familiar faces, specifically to the Noble team as well.
Yeah, definitely. These guys have changed their roster a couple times, but Spirits and Nad have always been there. Spirits is probably he's as nice as Flame Hopper, I think. So I met him at TwitchCon. We kind of chatted up. Same with Shrima. He could be quiet at times.
Best dancer NA.
Yeah, definitely is.
I'm excited to see him bring his dance moves to Vegas as well.
And then you got Gabe, who he did really well at the showdown. But yeah, I think they're going to be a team
to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And then this one is also a mostly familiar team.
Yeah, they're pretty OG, I think, with the addition of Prodigy Aces. But yeah, I play with Doug, quite a bit in H1. I haven't really played with many of the other teams or the other players, but I talked to Prodigy a good amount. But I think he was a great addition to the team, so we'll see. Definitely see how they do.
All right, and then this was one that was just announced yesterday, right?
I think everyone saw this coming. I think everyone knew they were going to go to TSM. They definitely proved that they're a top-tier team. They have Inboxes as their coach, and I would assume maybe a sub. He's OG. He's been around since like day one.
That invitational
winner 2 years ago. These guys,
ago.
their chemistry as a team is insane. And you got Geesh, who's super nice guy too. Dropped he's super consistent in every tournament he plays. Yeah.
So this is like the X-Impact team minus Candy plus Dropped, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So this is an interesting mix. Some mostly played together. A lot of the teams I've seen have been like 4 that have played together for a while and then 1 new contender.
That's usually what you'll see, I think, with a lot of these teams. They'll drop someone, pick someone else up.
There you
go. Yeah.
All right. So anything else you want to chat about before we let people know that this is coming up soon? This is next Saturday.
You're going to catch it live on Facebook, here on out. But yeah, I'm super excited for.
You'll be in Vegas.
I'll be in Vegas. Yeah.
Yes.
If you see us, come say hi.
So our plan for the Dev Digest stream, if we could head back to the camera here for a quick second, Sherwin. Awesome, thank you. Our plan for the Dev Digest stream is we want to bring these to you on Wednesdays, probably every other Wednesday. Yep. So next week we will be out in Vegas at the Pro League. We'll be doing some live streams from there as well. And like we mentioned, that first match is Saturday, April 21st. It is streaming live at 7 p.m. PT. And you can watch that all at facebook.com/H1Z1 Pro League.
And then the next match.
Is
Wednesday.
Is that Wednesday, right after
it's
that.
Insane,
They're flying right into match 2, and then from there on out, they're always on Wednesdays. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very cool. All right. Thanks so much, Joseph, for coming on. All right. Next up, this is what everyone has been waiting for.
Lies.
Everyone has been waiting for you, Mr. Arkleger.
Hello.
You are now on. Welcome to Dev Digest.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Would you like to give the stream a little bit?
Setup.
I know we've got a fern.
I like the fern.
I didn't put one on the other side. I felt like that would be too cheeky.
You can put it in the middle. It can be opposite one fern.
Opposite one fern? Fern between 2 people?
I'll take it.
There you go. All right, you want to tell the chat a little bit about what you do and what you're working on?
My name is Arclager, senior game designer on H1Z1. Most people probably know who I am. I've been working on the game since the beginning. I've been heading up the Z1 Remaster project with the Worlds team. Those guys have been doing a lot of great work, and I'm excited to share some of the work that has been coming in on the art side. We've been showing you kind of like the gray box buildings in the world, and you've been kind of seeing how the layout looks. And now we're about to show you what the world, or not the world, what the gray box buildings look like in a textured state. Yeah. What you're about to see is not
first ever footage.
Yeah, it's first ever footage of this coming in. We have a thing that we call the clean room, and it's basically a zone that has nothing in it, so it just shows off what we can lay out. And what you're about to see is definitely not final. It's just a glimpse into what the art team is looking at and working on.
All right, here we go.
So as you can see, this area has nothing in it. This is my character just kind of running around, and these are some of the new buildings and assets that have been coming in. So that's obviously the old gray box version, and it's hard to tell from this far away, but that building, the structure there, is what got retextured, and you'll be able to see better examples of it as we run through these warehouses. But it's everything that has been touched, art side for these buildings, all been retextured. Some have like little additions, like you can see the whiteboards up there, and but all the little details.
It's a real greasy looking sofa over there.
Yeah, that's a prop that's probably being redone. But just the structure itself is what we're trying to focus on.
Yeah.
But that's the gray box version of the big warehouse, and then you'll see the other version on the other side coming up here. And every structure just looks way better. It feels way better to run around in. This has some collision issues inside the building, so it's forcing the camera down. So you can tell there's still work to be done. Collision meshes and textures to be touched up. But as we run around here, these are all the buildings now.
So one of the things that you had come on and talked about before was about kind of how Z1 originally was designed as more of a survival map, and so the insides of buildings, everything was kind of cramped. There were a lot of tight corners, lots of clutter inside there. So you want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing here that's different?
Sure, yeah. So that's 100% true. The original game was created for a survival game, and we layered the Battle Royale mode on top of the survival game. Since then, and going back to Z1, a lot has changed. You can now pick your own spawn, which is probably one of the biggest disruptors. But we learned a lot. Yeah, these are the old diners that people are probably remembering.
Yes.
These are the new versions. But a lot has changed. So we've been having to go through the map or go through these buildings and kind of make them gameplay playable for Battle Royale. Removing a lot of the clutter that's on the inside, pushing it to the sides, making sure that it's easy to maneuver around. Just for combat, because a lot of the survival game and a lot of the survival buildings and the interiors of the buildings were built to look like a real life place that got ransacked by zombies.
Very apocalyptic, very dirty and grimy.
And we still kept some of the apocalyptic feel, as you can see, like in this office building, the rafters and everything's kind of grungy, and it still will feel like old Z1, but it should play a lot better and not play like a survival game, that's really slow paced, and play more like an action Battle Royale game.
I do love the brick on the buildings, and I'm excited to see that come back as well.
Right, yeah, I mean, we have some of the stuff boarded up still, and some of it looks like it still looks like the place has been ransacked. So it should still have that feel of like this survival feel of Z1, but again, it'll play a lot better as we go through all these buildings. I'm really excited about a lot of these buildings that came in as I've been running around them. They've been looking really good.
So there's another office building, couple
another
office buildings
yeah,
in a row.
it's looking at the
front side of it there.
And we're in the shade, so it kind of looks a little bit darker, but we'll show you something later on here. You can see what it looks like in the light. Here's going up to the roof.
There you go. What did you call this area again? Or
clean room.
Clean room.
Yeah, so basically clean room just stands for like, coders really like clean room because they don't need a lot of extra things being loaded in if they need to just test a system that they're coding or programming, right? Like if if they're making some new system and they don't have to load up all of Z1, right, just to test it and go into the world. They can just load up Clean Room, which loads instantly because there's nothing in it, right? So they can go in and just test stuff.
Very cool.
So it's useful.
I shared a picture of some of these yesterday.
Yeah, so this is the new trailer parks. This one, I don't know what's going on here. Again, these aren't final, but you'll see as we come over here. I don't know what's going on in this room. There's
there's like master control in here.
Yeah, someone's doing some illegal stuff in there.
I think maybe they're just filming the show.
Or they're like
underground
CIA or something. I don't know. But
they're spying on the rest of the trailer.
This building's a little more normal. But you can tell from the old trailers, we don't have a side-by-side of these, but like, these look really cool too. The old kind of like makeshift houses that were around some of the under construction houses that were around some of the village areas and in like the forests and some of the compounds.
Would you say there's more variety of buildings in Z1 versus Z2, or is it the same like amount of buildings? They're just different style.
I would say there's less in Z1 overall because it's a smaller map, but maybe not. I wouldn't know for sure, but it does feel like Z1 has a lot more character.
I think personally, like looking at the brickwork on the houses and looking at some of those textures, that's kind of what makes it feel more unique in that regard.
Yep.
I want this mansion. I love this mansion.
Is the redone governor's mansion.
Yeah.
That's it floating in the sky as a gray box.
Looming.
These are some of the 2 stories we go through.
Yeah, people in the chat like Governor's Mansion poggers. They're recognizing some of these.
I'm sure some of the OGs in the chat will recognize a lot of this stuff. This house got changed a little bit. It had a weird thing in the corner that was just like a dead end closet that we decided to change up because just the gameplay was awful. Same thing with the bathroom area was kind of just weird. You always clipped through your weapons and your body always like clipped through when you tried to hide in the bathroom. So like there's things like that, like little changes there that players might notice. That we did for gameplay purposes, but most of everything else really just feels the same. You know, the houses, I mean, you can just tell the textures, oh, this has another collision issue where it pushes the camera around. Into the, but, you know, everything looks just a little nicer. If some of the old Z1 buildings, you know, they were pretty early first pass, early access alpha buildings that we kind of, you know, had to get in there quickly because we wanted to let people play the survival game. But you know, some stuff, this is Zims coming in here.
I see some churches.
Yeah, there's stuff over here. I'm trying to get like a bunch of like showing everything.
Yes.
Because I knew this was a long video.
Very much so. But for a good reason.
Yeah. But this is a good step. This is a good sign towards Z1 because now that we have a lot of the groundwork done on the terrain and the lighting and the trees and the flora and the ecosystems and the rocks, you know, all the stuff that's in the outside of the world is kind of like getting there. Now all the buildings are getting there, and now we can place all of them and swap all the gray box buildings out with all these new buildings, and then the real fun starts, which is, you know, getting it complete, you know, kind of getting it to work as a complete map. So yeah, it's, you know, it's coming along. It's getting there.
Very cool.
This is still a very, very grungy, gross gas station.
Yes.
Oh, there's the fire station. As we run through here, and the church on the other side. But I hope people are excited about seeing this. This is a pretty big reveal, showing all these buildings. We wanted to do this for you guys because we know that there hasn't been a lot being shown, and you know, I know it sucks, and you know, we apologize for not having, you know, a lot to show. But sometimes in game development, you know, a lot of things go on, a lot of things happen, and if there's nothing to show, there's nothing to show. And so it's hard seeing the comments about, you know, why don't you give us more information? And you know, sometimes there isn't information, and that's the hardest, is when there's no information to give, and you want to make people happy, but you just can't.
Well,
so
that's
this
part
video,
of the reason we spun up this stream is specifically so that, you know, when there's things to share, we want to sit here and watch 10 minutes of you talking about Z1.
We're not trying to hide anything from anybody, right? And when there's stuff to show, we'll show it. And I hope that showing this video of all these new objects that, or these buildings that are finished, or at least not finished, but at the pass of being able to be shown.
So what is next step?
And hopefully makes up for it.
From this clean room is pulling these textures into.
So there's still issues with these, like they have to be textured, the collision has to be right. There's still cover height issues where you crouch under a window and your head's still sticking out. So those cover heights all need to be fixed. So there's still work to be done.
For example, for the cover height thing, like if we're looking at some of the windows in here, it looks like all these windows, if you crouched, your head would still be visible. So does that mean that, say, an artist or designer goes in and says, we want to raise the bottom of these windows all up?
Yeah, we want to try to do it in as many places as possible, but there's some buildings that are very, very bad. There's two really bad cover positions. There's the I think I'm safe here if I crouch and I'm not, versus the okay, I know that if I crouch here I'm not safe, so I probably shouldn't try. The other one is I think I'm safe here, but I'm not standing. Right, so if I run up to something that looks tall enough for me to run behind and hide just standing, and my head clips over the top, that's also bad. Versus like, oh, I know that if I run up to that thing, my head's going to be shown. Right, it's kind of like you can't trick the player with cover. The player has to be able to look at what they're about to hide behind and know, okay, if I run up to that thing and crouch, I should be safe. So we're going to all those places and kind of standardizing it, and making it so it's safe. I think that's the end of the video.
Very cool.
Cool.
Someone says, go loot, you don't have any ammo.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and there's no loot in that zone.
All right. We had one last little screenshot.
So there's one last little screenshot.
Yes.
We found a really cool screenshot of Summit plane way back in the day, and the left is old Z1 with the old textures and colors and everything, and the right is the new Z1. So, I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words. You can see how much better it looks on the right side. If you look at the buildings in the distance, how awfully, like, I don't want to rip on the guys too hard, but like they looked pretty bad in terms of first pass. Like if they had more time back then to make the buildings look better, they would have made them look better, because it's some of the same guys working on Z1 Remaster that were on Z1. But they've really, like, look at how small the little statue is on the left. It's like this little sad little
tiny monument. I just assumed it was further away, but no, it's the same distance. It's just the baby version.
No, it's just, I mean, you can just tell though. Look at every little thing, even the the flora, the dirt, the sidewalks. Everything that you see in this picture on the right has been touched up, and the whole map is going to feel that way. And I think the players are going to be really excited about being able to hop in here and see this remastered. You know, it is supposed to be a remaster, right? It's not just
think
supposed
of like
to be
any game that's
remastered.
Yeah,
it wasn't supposed to be a revert to Z1. It was supposed to be a remaster, and I hope that the players are happy with what we've been able to do.
Yeah. All right. I think that is about it. We have covered all of our topics today. We talked a little bit about game updates with Tony Cardo-Morton. We talked a little bit about the Pro League with Joseph Deonda, and we also had Arcliger on to chat Z1. So thank you all for stopping by for our very first episode. Hope you all have a great day.